is absolutely no getting around it. Texas should win this game against Oklahoma on Saturday. They are a 14.5-point favorite on Sunday night. Perhaps that gets betted up or even betted down, but if you're looking at what Texas has done and what Oklahoma has done, you understand Oklahoma is up against it for no other reason than the offense hasn't done much of anything to impress, and certainly doesn't feel like the kind that could challenge a Texas defense that has been nothing short of brilliant so far this year. Oklahoma scoring just 29 points per game, and that's when you take into account putting up 51 against Temple. And Texas has been thumping everybody they play. They're averaging 45 points per game. They're one of the best programs in college football. They are the number one team in college football. They're allowing just 7 points per game to opponents. Oklahoma's allowing 16. That said, Oklahoma allowed just 25 to Tennessee. Tennessee, who got held to 14 by Arkansas. Arkansas, who just employed the same defensive scheme that Oklahoma displayed. Difference is, Arkansas had a quarterback took care of the football. 19 to 26, 266 for most of the game for Taylor Green. Malachi Singleton took them over the line, even though he looked a lot like Jackson Arnold, but also some like Michael Hawkins when he made it happen there at the end. Michael Hawkins is going to get the start for Oklahoma, true freshman quarterback going to play Texas at OU Texas. You just don't feel great about that. However, Hawk is undefeated. Okay? When he starts, he's undefeated. Now, he started one game on the road against Auburn, and Auburn is not Texas, but you get my point there, right? Oklahoma can't throw the football to save its life. 169 yards passing per game, which is awful, to 322 with Arch Manning or Quinn Ewers at quarterback. And OU's not running the ball as well as we expect them to be. Just 129 yards on the ground, while Texas is at 191. Like, they're, again, third downs. Texas been converting half their third downs. More than half, 51.7%. Oklahoma's been abysmal on third down, 26.5%. Matter of fact, against Tennessee, didn't even get to third down on 3 possessions because Jackson Arnold turned the ball over 3 times on first down alone. Also, felt like a game that Oklahoma could have won if they just didn't turn the ball over, just didn't give it away. We know this because that's what Texas did. Arkansas did against Tennessee. That's Tennessee, though. I think Texas is a better football program. There's a reason why Texas is the last undefeated program in the SEC, which, by the way, they ought to tell a lot of people about that. I'm not saying hang the banner, but given what people said that Oklahoma and Texas were going to encounter when they entered the SEC, and given how it has gone, I'm inclined to say, hey, you ain't lose to Vanderbilt. How about that? You know? And Texas hasn't played anybody. And even that Michigan team, we don't think is any good anymore because they got a loss against Minnesota, and they got, of course, the loss to Texas. However, or Minnesota, not Minnesota, Washington. They should have lost to Minnesota, but they didn't because the officiating was atrocious. I'm also looking at Oklahoma, and I continue to think that this program can grind its way to 10 wins. But this game in particular is important for Texas. Texas loses this game to the number 18 team in the country, we're going to think less of them because, again, you should win this game by at least 2 touchdowns. You are the more talented program. You are the more experienced program. You return everybody on that staff. You know what you have in Quinn Ewers coming back from injury at another couple of weeks to just rest because Arch Manning's just that good. Your only liability is really a tailback, but it's not really a liability because Jaden Blue has been nothing short of great, right? Same thing with Wisner. You know, they've been outstanding. And then when you want to throw the football, you've been fine. But when you want to get after people, that's fine too. The offensive line is one of the best in the country. However, that all being said, it is a rivalry game. It is one of the rivalry games, the Red River Shootout, despite what any of the PC people might tell you. I'm also quite interested to find out what Texas team we're going to face on Saturday, we being Oklahoma, because this is also the one week where I kind of put down the analyst hat for just a little bit for this one game because you know what time it is, right? It's beat Texas time. That's what time it is. I also know that Oklahoma suffered the worst beatdown it has ever suffered in the Red River Shootout just 2 years ago, 49-0. Never mind, Davis Bevel was a quarterback and Dylan Gabriel was injured. I watched Dylan Gabriel also go get that win against Texas. And you can see how important it is to have a veteran presence at quarterback when you want to go play a great team like the University of Texas. Beat Texas in a year in which they won the Big 12 championship and made the college football playoff. That's the most in common that Oklahoma's really had with A&M for the last decade, because A&M managed to win 2 games against top 10 opponents in 2022 and finish 5-7. I don't know how you do that, but feels like that's on the offing. For Oklahoma, you could just as easily see this slide continue, right? Because the schedule for OU does not get any more chilling than it does right now, okay? So on this run, Texas, Auburn, or let me see, Tennessee, Auburn, Texas, then South Carolina, who might not be that good, but we'll see. Ole Miss, who is that good. Maine, all right, paid for that game. Missouri, oh, they're not that good anymore. Missouri fans were once talking noise. And then Bama and LSU to finish the season. I think a 2-loss Oklahoma team has an opportunity to get into college football playoff. 1 loss, absolutely, given what the schedule is. But that loss that Alabama took to Vanderbilt hurts everybody in the conference. Everybody. Because Vanderbilt ain't that good. Vanderbilt is better than it has been in years, but Vanderbilt's not that good. Vanderbilt has losses to Missouri and Georgia State. Georgia State, transitive property, got to win against the number 1 ranked opponent, okay? Also means that Bama's win over Georgia looks even worse, okay? One of the ways we can take that apart also is, okay, so Bama loses to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt lost to Missouri. Missouri lost to Texas A&M. Texas A&M lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Now, I realize that there are some folks that don't want the transitive stuff to happen, but first, we don't have that many games to go off of. And second, if you just want to say people are good from a week-to-week standpoint, I encourage you to submit a top 25. I do that every single week. See how that works for you. See how that goes. See how your results measure up. See if you can put together any line of logic. I don't think that's going to happen. So what does Oklahoma need to do to win? Hold on to the football. Grind out the game. Summon a rushing attack of any kind, and when you can, take your shots downfield, even as it doesn't feel like Nick Anderson is going to be around for this one. For Texas, it's just run the offense and play the defense. You are the more talented football team. You are the better football team. This is the year for which you should feel like you got to make the college football playoff or bust, and you have to win the national championship. For the first time in 2 decades, or not 2 decades, because 2009 felt real good. So first time in 16 years, right? 16 years? No, 15 years. We think that Texas has everything it needs to get to the national championship game and go get something done. However, this game could be the fly in the ointment because Oklahoma has to win more than Texas does. Why does Oklahoma have to win more than Texas does? Well, it's real simple. Nobody likes Oklahoma. Oklahoma is in the middle of nowhere, BFE. Oklahoma has way fewer people than Texas. Like, I think the population of Houston is greater than the population of the state of Oklahoma. This is a expansion team to the United States, okay? Founded in 1907. Texas was once its own country before it got annexed, right? We're also a program or a state that needs this program to be great because we didn't have a whole lot else. John Steinbeck told everybody to leave this place, wrote about some quitters and some cowards, as far as I'm concerned. I don't enjoy it when people pick on states that don't have what basically comes to NFL teams. Nebraska, Arkansas, Oklahoma. But this is the pro team, and that's why we recruit like we did. That's why it meant so much for Dr. George Lynn Cross to go get Jim Tatum just so he could get Bud Wilkinson to go get the GIs who wanted to beat up on some college kids and get 47 in a row going. When Barry Switzer knew what the monster was and continued to feed it. Fur coat, $1 million smile, going to Philadelphia, Mississippi, wherever you got to go, Henrietta, Oklahoma, to get players, to build a winner. Because outside of that, Oklahoma is a place people want to talk about as if it doesn't matter, right? Oklahoma is a place where tornadoes land. It's where the Murrah building bombing was. It's where people want to point and laugh. This is the program that gives us so much of our pride. And one of the ways that we have learned that we can get everybody else to pay attention to what's going on here is by beating the hell out of Texas. So we have made it our responsibility to beat up the hell out of Texas basically since we got started this, but particularly since the 1960s when the University of Texas ruled college football. When that started happening in the 70s, Darrell K. Royal found his way on the way out, ended up handing the reins over toward the end, start of the 1980s. Oklahoma went into a bit of a slump in the 1990s and then came out cooking with gas, right? Only thing that Oklahoma hasn't done in my lifetime is win more than one national championship. It has been 25 years since Oklahoma won a national championship, and I would like to toast an alcoholic beverage to a win in my lifetime and not a Hawaiian Punch juice box. It also means that this is a year for which everybody feels like they can make the college football playoff. It really does feel that way. A win against Oklahoma, a win for Texas just continues them apace. A win for Oklahoma gets them back in the race. That's what we're talking about here. I really enjoy this game. I really love this played at the Cotton Bowl. I really love that it's played in Dallas, Texas. And I will come unglued if Oklahoma wins this game.